I've got some bad news for my friend Gabby. The villain in this movie has the same name as you. Hey everybody, Blood Moon Bobby here. So as promised, here is my review of Toy Story 4. So I've been wanting to review this movie since I've done a lot of trailer reactions to Toy Story 4 and the fact that it actually won the Best Animated Feature Award at the recent Academy Awards. So with that in mind, I figured, now's a really good time to check it out, and it just came to Disney Plus. So I, streamed it on Disney Plus and gave it a watch last night. And what did I personally think of Toy Story 4? It's a good movie, but it has certain plot points that may confuse slash maybe even piss off a long-time Toy Story fans. But I'll get to them in this review. By the way, this review, as I do with many of my movie reviews, I'm trying not to be too spoilery. If you want me to go into more details of spoilers in my movie reviews, let me know down below in the comments. I know it's kind of weird with TV show reviews. I get really spoilery, but movie reviews I usually don't. But just let me know what you personally think down below in the comments. So basically what's going on here in Toy Story 4 is that, Bonnie is, who is now, the owner of Andy's Toys, as we know if you've seen Toy Story 3. And they're now going on a road trip, but along the way, one of Bonnie's new toys, which is a character named Forky, literally a spork with glued on eyes and a mouth, escapes, and Woody has to set out to find him. And through their adventures and their efforts to get back to Bonnie, the Woody actually comes across Bo. That's right, Bo Peep. As you may recall, in Toy Story 3, they implied that something happened to Bo, like she was donated away. And yes, that's what happens. Molly, Andy's sister, decides to donate away a bow as well as the lamp she used to be a part of. So they answered that in the introduction sequence of Toy Story 4. So yeah, that's quite a few things going on. And did I mention that Bonnie is starting to lose interest in Woody? Like, she's starting to lose interest in him as she's starting to grow up and she's about to go to kindergarten. So there's actually quite a lot going on in this movie. So I'll talk about it, as well as talk about how, if I personally think that the movie was able to juggle all these plot points really well. So I'll start off by talking about what I personally liked about Toy Story 4. As many of the Toy Story movies beforehand, the heartwarming moments are handled really well, like the scene where we see what happened to Bo and we see that she was donated away. I thought that was done in a really, a heartwarming way. I felt really sad, to see, her go. And the scene where she tells Woody, Woody gives her a chance to escape, but she tells Woody, it's time for me to move on. It was actually, really bittersweet. So I thought that was really well done. Another heartwarming element in this movie is the villain. The villain's subplot in this movie was done really well. So the villain in this movie is this doll named Gabby, and Gabby if she watches this video, but the doll Gabby actually wants to take Woody's voice box out. The voice box that allows Woody to say things like, you're my favorite deputy. And she wants to take the voice box out so that she can put it inside her, so she can say, things like, I want to be your best friend. Because Gabby believes that if she gets this voice box, then she'll be used by this antique store owner's granddaughter. So I thought the heartwarming moments were really well done, and the way that they're able to resolve Gabby's story and the outcome she has. I will say that she does have a really good ending, and I really like that in this movie they took the route of they turned this villain character, they turned an antagonistic character into, in the end, a good character in the end, and the characters are able to give her a fitting conclusion. So I thought that was done really well. Not that the Toy Story antagonists are like done really badly in the past. But I think back to, like a character like Lotso in Toy Story 3. Lotso started off as a good character, turned bad, then turned kind of good for a second, and then turned bad again, and then he got his own conclusion too. But I like that they went down this route of like giving this villain character, a very sympathetic character, a really sweet ending. So I thought that was done really well. And speaking of the heartwarming moments, I do really like how they were able to flesh out Bo in this movie. Not that like Bo isn't exactly a character I would say where I'm like dying to know, oh, like what's her backstory, what's her deeper character like. But I like what they were able to do with Bo in this movie. I do understand where she's coming from. This idea that because she was donated away, and even where she's been all these years, she's been in this antique store for years and years and years, and she just didn't like doing it here, so she decides to become a more fierce, independent person. And it's great to see that, of course, but I also do really sympathize with her, in that she's been through a lot of just abandonment and just being left untouched for years and so forth. So I really I do really sympathize with her. But at the same time, she also is still, a very sympathetic person. Like, even though she does, she wants to encourage Woody to, go without having an owner and become what they call a lost toy in this movie, going out there and like, going, traveling the world. She actually wants to, leave this antique store by traveling along with this carnival in the end, and she's kind of encouraging Woody to do the same because as we see in this movie, Bonnie is starting to lose interest in Woody. But at the same time, they show that Bo is sensitive and even kind of open to this idea that if Woody decides to go back with Bonnie, then she seems to respect that. I thought that, the way they were able to flesh Bo out was pretty well done. And, they make her into a more of a no-nonsense sort of character, but still a very sensitive character and one that I, sympathize with. Not that I don't like sympathize with Woody. If anything, I'm definitely in, Woody's boat in the beginning, this idea that of course he really cares for Bonnie, but as the movie goes on, I sort of reminded myself that, oh yeah, it seems like Bonnie is starting to lose interest in him. So other good things to talk about in Toy Story 4. I thought the comedy was actually pretty well done. There's actually a couple jokes in the movie that got a couple laughs out of me. Two of my favorite comedic moments were, the first one is I like the relationship between Woody and Forky, because when Forky comes to life, he thinks that, he's destined for the trash. Like, he's thinking that, oh, I'm meant to just, be made just to, like, scoop, like food into people's mouths, and then they go in the trash. In fact, when Forky comes home, the only word he could say initially is trash, and he just waddles his way toward the trash can. And as they're starting to go on that road trip, Forky keeps trying to put himself in the trash can or escape Bonnie's parents' RV, and then Woody has to constantly like go get him and stop him, and Woody has to teach Forky what it's like to be loved by an owner, loved by a kid and so forth. So I thought the relationship between Woody and Forky was very comedic and very sweet. And the other thing too, as the trailers advertised, is that Jordan Peele and Keegan-Michael Key are in this movie playing characters named Ducky and Bunny, which are, as their name implies, a stuffed Ducky and a stuffed Bunny, like plushie kind of characters. And I even thought their scenes, I mean, I'm a Key and Peele fan myself, actually got some laughs out of me. In fact, my favorite comedic moment with Ducky and Bunny is when they're trying to figure out how to get these keys from the antique store owner, and they come up with all these weird plans to like ambush her. This one idea they have is like they wait until like she goes home and eats dinner, babes, and when she gets into bed, they sneak attack on her. Like the pacing of this, and the characters like, where is this going? Because the other characters like, when are Ducky and Bunny going to get the keys? But I thought the comedy behind that scene was really well done. as is much of Key and Peele's work that I've seen. So yeah, so I really thought the Toy Story 4 had its share of really heartwarming moments, as well as even like really funny moments, a couple knee slappers thrown in there. So what's not to like in this movie? Well, the thing about Toy Story 4 is it's one of those movies that I felt if it had one more rewrite, then I felt that it could have spaced out some things, because a ton happens in the second act of Toy Story 4. In fact, I had to write, I had to type it down on my iPad just to sum up, what happens in this one part of the second act. So, in the second act, we see, Woody is going into this antique store because that's where he sees Bo, or he thinks that Bo will be. But in the process, he gets taken away by this kid, the antique store owner's granddaughter. And then on top of that, we see that Buzz is going out there to find Woody. And then Buzz gets trapped in this carnival game. And that's where he meets Ducky and Bunny. And then Ducky and Bunny, get acquainted with Buzz in a really comedic way, and we see that through a random kid who just happens to be playing with Bo. That's how Woody and Bo reunite, and then Woody, Bo, and then Buzz and Ducky and Bunny, they get together right in the middle of the second act. So it's just like a lot is going on, and like especially the scene where we see the granddaughter, going out with Woody. I was like, wait, is he getting lost again? Is he like, because like I didn't I didn't this is my first time watching the movie, so I'm like, wait, are we jumping from here and there and here and there? So it's just like, I'm just like, I wish they could have spaced it out more. So I'm just like thinking if they spaced out things and maybe slowed the pacing down a little bit, it would be like, a bit easier for me to take in. So it's kind of more of a preferential sort of thing. For a second there, I was getting like thoughts like, am I watching Steven Spielberg's Minority Report again with like, it's really like complex, like plot points? It's just like, relax. Jesus Christ. Oh, and speaking of Buzz Lightyear, they do this really weird shtick with him in this movie where Buzz like presses, because like on his spacesuit he has like the buttons on like his chest. He presses one of them, and if the spacesuit says something like, let's go on this mission, let's go, Buzz is thinking, okay, that means I must, go outside. Or if he pressed the button and, the voice box in him says something like, look above. He literally looks above, and it's just like, he's relying on like a voice like that. Is that supposed to be funny? I just thought that was done really awkwardly. So yeah, Buzz's comedic shtick in this movie is I just thought was really awkward. And another thing too is the ending of this movie. I like the ending. I'm not gonna like give all that many details because I want you to check out the movie for yourself. But if you want me to talk about more spoilers and the spoilery parts of movies in the future, let me know down below in the comments. I liked the ending of Toy Story 4 because I thought it was handled in a really heartfelt, sensitive way. But I have a feeling some people that may watch this, and I could completely understand, may think that the outcome of this movie, especially, since with when you consider, Woody's relationship with his friends through the years, I think that may scratch the heads and confuse some fans out there. I mean, it's really kind of hard to explain without being spoilery. The best way I could sum it up is we've seen Woody and the toys. They were with Andy technically through 3 movies, and with Bonnie, we've seen her have the toys through 2 movies. The third, 4th, as well as the couple other Toy Story specials like Toy Story of Terror, as well as a Christmas special. So the outcome, especially given where the fact that Bonnie has had them for a couple years, and for me, like, I understand that Bonnie is a different character from Andy, so characters are going to grow up differently and have different experiences. But I get the feeling it may come off as kind of awkward to some fans. And I could completely understand for those who may think the ending is either confusing, awkward, or just odd. So I personally like the ending since I thought it was done in a really heartfelt way. Especially since it's basically the one time in the movie where all the characters really get together. You know, Bo reunites with, you know, characters like, you know, Jesse and the rest as for a moment of the movie, but it may be awkward and odd for some, so just a heads up. I don't want to be over specific with what happens in the ending, but I wouldn't be shocked if some fans turn on this movie and they're like, what? So yeah, so that's Toy Story 4. I personally like the movie. I didn't quite like it as much as Toy Story 3 because I really liked how high the stakes were in Toy Story 3. I know some may say Toy Story 3, it does have a darker tone compared to the other Toy Story movies, but I actually kind of like that. I really like that they went in that direction in the third Toy Story, especially with how much time has passed and the stakes of what were going on. I felt that fit really well. So I would give Toy Story 4 personally a 7.5 out of 10. So let me know your thoughts down below. Have you seen Toy Story 4? What did you think of it? How do you think it compares to the other Toy Story movies? Leave all those thoughts down below. Until next time, this has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thank you all for watching. Hi everyone, thanks for watching this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos and ring the bell to be notified about my latest uploads. Don't forget to follow me on social media for my latest opinions and video updates. I hope to see you next time.